Hey, how's everybody doing out there in podcast world and those out there on Facebook? Good afternoon. Time for another episode of Things My Mother Never Told Me. Tina, say
Hey,
hey.
how's our audience doing out there? You in for a treat tonight.
Right. We got another special guest, and we really thankful to this young man. He stepped in when our intended guest back didn't do what they supposed to do, and he jumped right in on it. And we got some good stuff for you today. What we're gonna do is read your bio. Tanya's gonna read it, and then we're gonna jump in and ask you these questions, let you tell your story.
All right, sounds good to me.
All right, everybody, let's welcome James C. Turner. He's a film director, producer, writer, all straight out of Highland Park. And let me tell you a few things that Mr. Turner said and what he sent to us. He said, I prayed and I asked God to please show me my purpose. Later that evening, as I drifted off to sleep, I got a response. How about that? A voice came to me and asked me, what would you do if you were already rich? When I woke up, I had my answer. I'd make movies. I immediately changed my major to film production and never looked back. My goal is not just to make movies, I want to change people's lives with the movies that I make. I aim to ease people's anxieties with entertainment and to motivate them to be the best person they can be with well placed, high impact dialogue. In my short film, Blink of an Eye, the moral to the story is that God has a wrath too. In Destiny's Calling, it's designed to make people feel better about about not being rich. How about that? I can't wait to hear you talk about that one. The Highland Park documentary is meant to instill pride in the residents of a historic city and to attract investors. The life of Reggie McKenzie is going to show the power that one man has to change an entire community, much like yourself. How about that?
Man,
And Noble Intentions is a film that is meant to help people understand and emphasize with young men who delve into the street life. I realized that early that movies have the power to shape people's worldview. That sparked my curiosity. I want to know how movies were made. I wanted to know how movies were made and why they make people feel the way they do. Now that I have an in-depth understanding of the medium and its impact on people, I use that power to enlighten and uplift them. All right, then. That's all we have for you right now. We're going to let you tell your story.
Oh,
Welcome again, everybody. This is James C. Taylor.
all right, James, how you doing, brother?
I'm good. How are y'all?
You're doing real good, doing
Was
real
that good
good.
enough for you?
Hey, it was beautiful. Hey, look, I forgot I even wrote it all eloquently like that. I was like, man, who wrote that?
Well, look, you the one said we going to have some high impact dialogue.
All right,
I love it. I love it.
Me
right.
So,
too.
yeah. But
So,
yeah,
so, quick questions for you, and then we let you tell your story. Uh,
uh,
lifelong Highland Parker.
absolutely.
All right. And so we're gonna assume we talked beforehand, so we already know this Highland Park High because we focus on the high school that our guests went to just to show folks that no matter what school you went to, no matter where you went to school, great things come out of all schools. So
Oh, yeah.
yeah. So let's get into this. What I like to like what Tanya said is that you started out by I prayed and asked God to show me my purpose.
Yeah.
I mean, that's deep.
That is.
That's deep. So let's tell us how that came about, and then I guess we'll see how it shaped who you are and what you're doing now.
Uh, well, at some point in your life, everybody has this contemplation or you feel this void because you know that with all the stuff going on in the world, you have to have something that is meant for you,
Right,
right? So
right,
you know that you're supposed to have a purpose. So there's a reason that you're here. And as a young person, we sort of, I think, ignore that and we just have fun and, we party and all of that.
mhm,
But as we get older and we get more mature, we tend to want to, okay, stay focused on what it is we're trying to do out here, what we want to accomplish while we're here on this earth, right?
right, right,
I look at life like a test, bro. I look at life like it's a short amount of time because we come here and we're only here for around 30,000 days. We got All right. If we live 36,500 days, we'll be 100 years old, right?
Right.
Do the math. We're 100 years old in 36,000 days, right?
Right.
So the most people ain't gonna make it about 30
Yeah,
if we lucky.
if we lucky.
So it's a reason. You feel me? Like, why are we here for this little 30,000 days and we don't got nothing to do but party, drink, smoke, and that don't make sense.
Right.
So I asked God, I say, look, God, I want to do my part. So what is it? What am I here for, man? What's the point?
Right.
Yeah, he came right to me, gave me the answer, man. So, and that was the question. And I ask anybody, I tell anybody, you really want to get to the root of what you're here for? Think about what you would do if you was already rich, because what
Hmm.
motivates most people is money,
Right. That's
and
right.
not just because we want it, but because we need it. You gotta have
Mm-hmm.
money to survive. So it's not something, if most people, if they didn't need money for bills or something, food or something, they wouldn't get out of bed. They chill, right?
That's right.
You better know it.
Yeah. So money drives most of us, and then once you get to a certain level caliber, you start understanding that it's not all about money
Right.
because you can get money in multiple ways,
Hmm.
right? You can do something legal to get money, illegal to get money. You can sweep streets, you can cook food, you can sell cars. It's a million ways to get money.
Hmm.
So it's not just all about money too. You got to get money the right way. You got
Right.
to get rich the right way, the way that you're supposed to do it. And
Exactly.
so that's the way I got my answer. I asked that question, and it
Cool.
was clear as day when I woke up.
So let me
Wow.
ask you. You said you changed your major. So
Mhm.
what were you majoring in before that?
Whew, I had a couple of them, but I started out as mechanical engineering
Okay.
because I'm really
Okay.
good with math. I love math,
Okay.
and so engineering was just I was drawn to that because I love challenging things. Anything
Hmm.
that's challenging, uh, it might be kind of vain, but I kind of like to do the stuff that most people just can't get. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
Like
Right.
when,
Right.
when I'm when I'm learning stuff that I know other people have a hard time learning, that's where I get the biggest joy. Weird but true, right?
Okay.
Hey,
Okay.
that's all right with me.
Right. I
Yeah,
mean.
so yeah, I came from mechanical engineering, and and then I just went over to filmmaking. Really, I went into multimedia.
Okay.
So and multimedia is a five different disciplines.
Yes.
It's audio, video, graphics, interactive media, and print media. So of those five disciplines, video is film production.
Hmm.
So I started out as a software engineer, and I ended up doing a lot of interactive. Software engineering was cool because I got to pull in all the stuff. You
Hmm.
got to use
Right.
Mm-hmm.
text,
Right.
all that audio, graphics, everything. Because the closest thing um, I can tell you about software engineering is like a video game, right? So like if
Okay.
you're a video game designer, you're gonna have graphics, you're gonna have video, you're gonna have interactivity, you're gonna have text
Hmm.
and and audio. And so that's like multimedia at its best.
Right. Right.
So I decided to focus strictly on film production,
Okay.
and that is where my prayer led me.
Okay. That's cool.
I love
That's
it. I
cool.
love it.
And it's funny. I'm gonna jump around your bio because you said something in here that really caught my eye and my ear because I went back to school recently, and you said you realized early on that movies have the power to shape people's world view. And when we were in school, what nobody talking about worldview? I recently went back to school, and that's all they talking about is worldview. And so
Mhm.
when I see this here in your bio, I'm like, okay, here we go. So let's talk about that
Mhm.
worldview, how you see it.
Well, it's similar to the plot in the film that I'm actually about to produce right now, Noble Intentions, right?
Okay.
Mm-hmm.
In this film, it's about a young man who turns to the streets to make money to pay for his mother's cancer medicine.
Hmm.
When he does turn to the streets, and he doesn't want to do it, I mean, he debates it, it's against everything he believes in. He just don't want to do it. He'll rather do anything else, take 10 jobs. But there's no way to get $6,000 a month when you're 18 years old legally.
Right.
Who's going to
That's
pay an 18-year-old that kind of money? Because you don't have enough hours in the day to, and paper routes. There's nothing really that you can do at that age to get that money,
Exactly.
unless
right.
you turn to the streets.
That's right.
So when he does it, um, the worlds change. even though he's going from his house with his mother right down the street to sell drugs, basically with the boys from the hood, it's two totally different worlds
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
and two totally different worldviews. His
Right.
mother's religious, peaceful household, wholesome people, very calm life, nice,
Mm.
easy going. When he turned to the streets, he going right up the street. You're talking about fast paced, cussing, drinking, smoking, women, drugs, just a
Right.
Oh,
whole
just all.
mess,
Yeah.
right? So
Right.
these are two totally different worldviews on the same block.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
And that's what black people are used to. That's why they say, there's a difference between black people.
Yeah.
Just because
Yes.
we're from the same, hey, y'all want to hear something funny, right? So I sends out the screenplay for coverage.
Uh-huh.
So when you're a writer, Hollywood has this thing called coverage. Basically, they'll read your screenplay. You pay them, and it's the analysts that read scripts for all the big studios in Hollywood.
Okay.
And they'll read your screenplay for a fee, and they'll send you back feedback on your screenplay to tell you how good it is compared to all the other screenplays that Hollywood gets.
Okay.
So when I sent the coverage out, I'm anxious to see what they got to say, right? So they come back, they like, you're in the 95th percentile for dialogue. Like 95th percentile, I mean, I'm in the top 5% of all.
Right.
Mm-hmm.
Right.
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 Now I'm surprised. I'm pretty good with words, but I didn't expect to be that good, right?
Right.
But did one of the things they thought that I did wrong. They said, the pacing in Act Two, it just really, really speeds up compared to Act One. And
He's in a different world. Did you read that
hey, hey, look, they said, they're from the same neighborhood. So, how does this act just takes off so fast as opposed to Act One? And I thought that was the biggest compliment
Right.
ever, right? So
Exactly.
they're telling me to fix it. I'm like, are you serious? This is the biggest compliment ever.
Right. You did exactly what you was trying to do.
That's what they're telling me.
Yes,
Like
we
that.
wanted you to
Now
see
they're
that.
telling me, yeah, you sort of hit the nail on the head, right? So I said, okay, good. So I just thought that was funny because that's part of the reason that this film is so important.
Yeah.
Because other cultures do not understand the drastic differences in black people.
Right.
Like,
Right.
look at us and they, oh, criminal, shit.
Mm-hmm.
And you have no idea. This person is a church going, wholesome person, wouldn't hurt nobody.
Right.
But you'll snatch them out the car and throw them on the ground and put your knee in their back just as fast as you would a criminal who might kill you. You look at us all like we're all violent criminals. That's just not the case.
Exactly. Exactly.
And so, that's why I wanted to draw that distinction between our worlds, even though we're from the same community,
Right. Right.
the same culture, it's the same race, the same country, but we live in different worlds amongst ourselves.
Yes,
Mhm.
we
We
Right.
don't do this.
Right.
Sister Turner ain't gonna do Baby's mama doing.
There you go.
That's right.
They two totally different people. So
Two totally different people.
And look, could be living. I know it now, but especially when we grew up, could be living 2 doors down,
yeah, right next door.
right next door.
I know.
And-
Me and
and-
my sister different as night and
And
day.
it's two
in
totally
raising
different worlds,
children
right? In
and
the same
everything.
house, it was 2 totally different worlds. Cause they don't see that. They don't see that.
Yeah, they don't get it. They think it's all the same. Like I just took that as the biggest compliment. I giggled all the way when I saw that part. But
Right.
they did have a couple of good suggestions that I did incorporate and rewrote the screenplay, and it did make it better. I'm not gonna kid you. So I was happy that I sent off for it.
Right.
But yeah,
Wait.
so that's what I mean by worldview.
Right. Okay. Good. Good. Well, the other part, it didn't hurt because it validated what you were trying to do. They saw it. They just didn't understand it. So that's
Exactly. So
that's
when y'all
good.
see it, y'all will.
Yeah.
Y'all will right away.
Definitely.
Like, oh, that's my little cousin. That's my other little cousin.
Right.
One that we all don't mess with. We stay away from him.
I know that's right.
Unless we need something to happen. We're gonna call him up real quick. Now we don't mess with you.
And
but
then
you
it'll be a
come on.
Lifetime movie.
Right. But you need to run on over here real quick.
Right. take care of this little situation because somebody must have, they must have got it twisted. I'm still black now. I know some people.
Right.
So when is this movie coming out? Is this
All right, so Noble Intentions, we're looking for commercial distribution for this film.
okay?
We're talking with a few people right now. We actually got one studio who is excited about it. And the distributor decides when it gets released.
Okay.
So if we have to self-release, which would basically mean that we weren't able to pull in no major stars or bankable stars, um, then we could look at, I don't know, probably early next year.
Okay.
I will be ready to self-distribute because um, the goal is to get the commercial distribution.
Right.
Yes.
So I'm gonna give myself some time to get it. I think I might have it. We got a pitch going in 2 weeks
Okay.
to get a major studio involved.
I'm excited for you already.
Come on. Hey, listen, this thing here is bigger than me, and I say that in all sincerity. I've written films before. I've shot, edited films before. I haven't ever seen anything like this. Just
Okay.
the amount of excitement, the number of people who are reaching out and wanting to be a part of this project.
Okay.
It's like I've never seen before, and we are early in the process. So we haven't even picked the camera up yet. We haven't even did our first rehearsals yet.
Okay.
So it's amazing to me.
Yeah.
Well, you did ask God.
Oh, oh.
Now he'll pour you out a blessing. What?
Hey, listen. I told my wife, over 50 years, my 50 years of living, right? I've only seen God work in real time 3 times my whole life.
Yeah.
Like, and I point him out to her. I say these 3 times. When I say real time, I'm talking about I pray for something, and as soon as I pray for it, He gives it to me.
Right.
Like I'm talking about while I'm praying, my prayers are being answered.
Yes.
That's real time to me, right?
Yes.
I have seen God work in real time 3 times a day for the last 2 to 3 months.
All right.
This is how blessed this thing is. This is beyond me. I already know it. I already know that if there's something in this film that people need to hear, there's something going on that God is taking a direct interest in because I've never seen him work in real time this much in my life.
Right.
Ever. And I know God real. I've been right there.
Yeah.
I've watched him protect me. I done been in the city. I'm from Highland Park, Michigan. I done seen a bunch of stuff. You feel me? And my city is a good city. Don't get me wrong.
Oh no,
we know.
But it's still, an urban city. So we deal with a lot. Now
Yes,
we're
we
a
do.
tight-knit family, right? Highland Park is very tight-knit. We're only 9 square miles.
Right.
And we're dead smack in the middle of Detroit, right?
Yeah.
So you already know when we were coming up, we had to deal with cats that thought they were tough coming from all sides because we're right in the middle of Detroit. So we got the east side, the west side, you know what I'm saying? The north and south side. Whatever it is, they was all coming to Highland Park thinking they're tough and gonna take over. So we dealt with a lot of people, and we did what we had to do to make sure they understood that we ain't for them games. All right.
Yeah.
I have not seen God work like this ever. All right. So that was my point to all of that.
Sure.
You know what I'm saying?
Sure.
And so I feel very blessed to be a part of it, right?
Oh, you are.
Real quick, sometimes the speed at which God works is in direct relationship to where the person is and being able to ready to receive. Because if you want something and you ain't ready to receive it, he ain't about to send it to you.
That's right. Blow up in your face.
But when you ready, you better be ready.
Yeah. I'm ready.
Yeah.
I made Destiny's Calling 10 years ago.
Okay.
And I basically took my time. I didn't really know what to do with the film after I made it. And it's a good movie.
Yeah.
It needs better post-production on audio, but it's a good movie. I did this little quiz and it came back and say, James, you're afraid of success. I was like, what? They got me toe up wrong, right? You got me so wrong. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
I might be afraid of failure, but I'm not afraid of success.
Yeah.
Then I started thinking about it. I'm like, I do have a sincere fear of what do you call that? Public success
Uh-huh.
and then failure, right?
Right.
So I always been right at the edge of fame. Like if fame is here, I've been right there. You know
Yeah.
what I'm saying?
Right. Right.
I
Right.
just be right underneath it, right? Because I just feel like once you get famous, you can't come back.
Mm-hmm.
You
That's
can
right.
you can get famous for something different. Like if you're famous for playing football, you can end up being famous for going to jail for fighting dogs.
Right. That's
If you're
right.
famous for making music, you can get famous for being a pedophile.
Yeah.
But your fame never go away.
Yeah. Yeah.
It can shift though. You
That's
feel
right.
me?
That's
And
right.
so you're always gonna be famous. You just be famous for different stuff.
Right.
And you hope to be that you famous for being having a new album.
I know.
Look, look, I need to write.
But some,
Something
I
positive.
need to write that down
Yes, we do.
because you're absolutely right. Because I mean, we can go down we can go all the way down the list.
yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
that,
Yeah.
that fame never goes away. So I always had a little hint of fear of that. And I didn't realize it until this little um I think it was equilibrium or something like that. I
Uh-huh.
worked at Chase Bank for a while. I was a licensed banker. I got like 17 finance licenses. I like did a lot of stuff, right?
Okay. Okay.
So and when I took the little what is it called, a personality test or whatever,
Right.
they came back and
Right.
said that I thought that was the dumbest thing ever. And then I thought about it and realized they right.
Yeah.
I'm kind of afraid of fame. I wouldn't call it success. I was kind of afraid of fame.
Right.
I just didn't want to get famous and then do something stupid and then
Hmm.
everybody laugh because now I'm looking stupid. I'm gonna
You
laugh.
definitely have to stay focused. Yeah.
Yeah.
And then my wife, she got in my ear. She was like, "Jay, you gotta let that go. You gotta fulfill your purpose, boy. You here for a reason. You got something to do."
Right.
And I said, "You know what? You're right." I said, "All right, I'm gonna go on and do it."
Yeah.
And ever since then, I ain't looked back. I ain't turned. I don't care. We going. We going.
Right.
We going. I don't
But
care. Whatever, whatever, whatever. We going. We
right.
gonna see
That's
the
right.
light on the other side.
That's right. One or two things gonna happen. Either it's gonna work or it ain't.
Exactly.
and,
Exactly. That's
and,
it.
and if
That's it.
God done already told you it's gonna work, what we talking about?
Right. Ain't no looking back. You right.
Hey, look, he already here. He already here. I don't
Yeah.
have nothing. I'm man, please. I'm not concerned about a
Ooh.
thing.
Right.
Whatever happens is supposed to happen, man.
Yeah. Yeah.
That's how I feel about it.
Yeah.
That's just how.
Right.
So, yeah. I
Well,
don't
here,
know.
so here goes something else that really stuck out to me. Tanya didn't read this part. Uh, your take on when you looked at driving Miss Daisy and really got into it.
Yeah, I want to. Yeah.
All
So,
right. So that Morgan Freeman is my favorite actor, right?
mm-hmm.
And the reason is because when I first saw Driving Miss Daisy, all I saw was the posters and stuff with this black man sitting in the front seat driving this woman around, and I'm like, that's some more stepping that type,
Yeah.
and I get tired of that. I
Right.
get tired of that same old here's a Mazda, here's a boss story for black folks and
Right.
slave stories for black folks. It's like I get it, that was a part of our history, but that personally that is not stopping us from doing whatever we want to do now,
Right.
right? So I get it, and I understand that children need to understand where we come from in America, right?
Right. Right.
But I had no desire to watch the movie.
Me
None.
either.
Um, but then I happened to watch it,
Mm-hmm.
and I was blown away. Morgan Freeman pulled off that role with such class.
Yeah.
It made me realize, oh, you can honestly put if you no matter what the situation is, you can write that story and deliver that story with dignity and respect and class about
Mm.
yourself.
Right. Right.
So even if it's a slave story, that slave can have all the right morals and the right ingredients in him to make you proud of him.
Right. Right.
And I said, okay, now I could tell the black story no matter what situation you put us in. I'm gonna make sure that we have something in there that make a black man say, I'm proud of that.
That's right.
I don't care what kind of adverse situations you put us in. I guarantee you it was somebody and something that black person did that made us proud.
Mm-hmm.
Even if you sacrifice your life, I guarantee
Yes.
you stood for the right thing. You can make me proud. Like, all right, I understand.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
That's what that movie did for me. It
Right.
gave me the insight that we could tell any story without being demeaned and without us looking bad and stupid,
Right,
and that's my goal. My goal is to make movies with meaning,
right. I
Yeah,
like that. I like
yeah,
that. Yeah, because way too often we don't really understand the why behind why people do what they do or don't do what we think they should do. We don't.
mhm,
We don't. We just think about that. Yeah. I would never. You know the old saying. If I lived back then, if you lived back then, you'd got whipped too,
yeah,
just
right,
like everybody else.
absolutely. But
So.
would you have to cry? I guess that's the thing. We all gonna get a whooping, but which one of us gonna cry? 'Cause I
That's.
ain't crying.
Mm-hmm.
I'm gonna take mine like Denzel. If anything roll, it's gonna be one little single.
One little tear. Yeah, that I'm strong tear.
Yeah, that
Right.
strong black man. We can still hold our head high. And basically, it just showed me that you can write a
Yeah.
story um, that's compelling, even no matter what the premise is and all of that kind of stuff.
Yeah. Yeah. Okay.
Yeah. So,
Okay.
but, it's a lot of stuff, man. It's a turn. It's a turn going on with me over here.
So what about what about the Highland Park documentary?
Ooh, that was a doozy, man. So I've been living in Highland Park since I was 7 years old. I'm 51 now,
Mm-hmm.
so I've been there for a while, and I knew that the city was different.
Mm-hmm.
When I first moved over there, I saw how tight everybody was. I kind of thought it was just maybe our block, or maybe it was just something I'm missing.
Right.
But I figured everybody they've been living here a long time. Maybe they all know each other better. But it really is ingrained in the culture of Highland Park, a tight knitness because the city was like heaven on earth 100 years ago.
Okay.
And I say that, and people be like, "Well, what do you mean heaven on earth, right?" All right, you got to think about it. Highland Park is 2.9 square miles. Inside of this 2.9 square miles, you had the headquarters for Ford and Chrysler,
Right.
two of the big three. They paying taxes right here. These streets were made of gold.
Yeah. Yeah.
All right, pretty much. And Ford was paying people $5 a day when nobody else was paying that kind of money,
Mm-hmm.
right? So all of his workers could afford their own homes, their own cars, and they just had plenty of free money. So back in the 1920s and all of that, before the Great Depression and all of that, you had black men. He didn't care if you were black, white, Chinese. He didn't care. He paid everybody $5 a day.
Mm-hmm.
You had black men driving cars in Highland Park,
Yeah.
while the rest of the world was still riding horses. That's
Yeah.
what I learned in that documentary,
Yeah.
and I was blown away. I was
Right.
blown away. I had no idea that the city had such a high impact on the world because this is the place where the first moving assembly line was created.
Mm-hmm.
So you had some of the engineering geniuses of our life, of our lifetime, living right there in this little small 2.9 square mile city, and they changed the world from right there.
Right. Right.
Not Detroit, Highland Park. Everybody that was coming from down south trying to get up to Detroit, and everybody coming around the world to get to Detroit, they was really trying to get to Highland Park because that's where Ford and Chrysler was headquartered.
Right.
And Ford was paying so much money that you could afford houses and cars right then.
Mm-hmm.
As soon as
Mm-hmm.
you get the job, you can go buy you a car and a house tomorrow.
Would you say that's collateral right there?
If you're making $5 a day and the car costs $300, it don't take long to pay that off.
No, not at all.
The
No.
house costs 1,700, the car costs 300. So for 2,000, you're making five a day. Come on, you can do the math and start counting. You can pay that right off. And he didn't care what color your skin was.
Okay. Okay.
So yeah, Highland Park opened a lot of doors for the world. We changed the world.
Yeah.
Period. There's no way to look at it other than that,
Mm.
unless you're just trying to fool yourself.
Mm-hmm.
Highland Park changed the world,
Yeah.
and
Yeah.
so doing that documentary, and I got to interview like five different mayors and all of that stuff.
Mhm.
I learned a ton, and I fell in love with my city.
Okay.
You know, I fell in love. I already liked it a lot. I
Mhm.
already had pride, but I absolutely have pride now.
Okay. What about Davidson
Davidson, what?
Freeway?
Freeway? the first freeway in the world, man.
Okay. Okay.
Come
I
on,
just
man.
I
Oh,
just
I
want
know about that.
I just want to make sure you threw that out there.
It's in there. It's baked in.
Okay.
But they made that freeway because of the war. So the freeway was actually so that they could transport weapons across town.
Mm-hmm.
So they had to get all of this different artillery and weapons and stuff because the factories that made cars got converted. So they
Mm-hmm.
stopped making cars and they started making planes and tanks and
Right.
jeeps or whatever the military needed.
Right.
And so they was hurrying up and they needed to hurry up and get this stuff across town. So that's why they made the Davidson Freeway.
Mm-hmm.
And that's how it came about, right there in Highland Park, man.
All right.
Most people don't know that.
Yeah.
Yeah, I didn't.
So so I'm trying to think where I want to go with it. I don't know what we want to do. I mean, so how would one get to see that documentary? Let's do that.
So I still have some DVDs, believe it or not. They're about to be relics, right? It's crazy how fast this stuff come and go.
Right.
I mean, I bought the biggest, baddest, deluxe DVD burner ever. I got the big tower.
It is stripped out after everything gets so obsolete so quick.
300 of them a minute.
Man, I'm talking about. It took a college degree to learn how to work the thing. I bought this thing and got all the bells and whistles, and now it's about to collect dust because everybody's doing everything digitally now.
Right.
Mhm.
So what I'm waiting for with the Highland Park documentary, as well as Destiny's Calling, and Reg McKenzie is on hold because of COVID.
Okay.
But now that they're releasing us basically and relaxing the rules for COVID, we'll probably be releasing that at some point next year.
Okay.
But the Highland Park documentary, the way people will be able to see it is going to be on something like a pay-per-view streaming. I don't know. I'm really trying to save it for this distribution deal that I'm seeking for Noble Intentions. So it all culminates with having enough material to capture a distributor's attention.
Mm-hmm.
Yes.
Mm-hmm.
So when they look at you and you only got one thing, they look at you, man, what else you got?
Right.
One question, right? So now I got a bunch else. I got the Highland Park documentary. I got a Rick McKenzie documentary. I got Noble Intentions. I got Destiny's Calling. All right. So I got 4 feature-length films ready to distribute now.
Okay.
As soon as we're done with Noble Intentions, of course.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
So that's what I'm waiting for. There is a password-protected version of it on my website.
Mm-hmm.
So, if someone calls me and they are, a lifelong Highland Parker or something, or they are doing research about Highland Park, any kind of institution, or if you guys call and say, hey, James, let us check it out. I know you guys. I said, I'll give you the password, right?
Okay.
And you can go and check out the film for free on my website.
Okay.
But you basically got to reach out, contact me, and I send it over. I didn't give it out to about 4 or 5 people, but I really don't. I haven't put it on any platforms to distribute or anything like that because I'm saving it. I don't want to blow the chance.
Mm-hmm.
That's right. I don't blame you.
So
that's right.
Follow
your mind.
Yeah. I'm trying.
Right. And well, one other thing we do is that we build up the appetite.
Yeah.
So people want to see it, and then they say, well, these people want to see this. They want to see this. They already know you got an audience built in before it even hits the streets.
Yeah. That's always a good thing.
Yeah, always a good thing.
So tell your audience though, look, if y'all want to keep up with me, go to jamescturner.com. That's my website. I know she introduced me as James Taylor or something like that. That's the singer. I'm Turner.
James C. Turner.
Yeah. So, but go to jamescturner.com. That's the key. Mm-hmm. And then that way you'll be able to keep up with me and see what I'm doing, and hopefully support me as I move through this industry and try to bring some of our stories to fruition the right way.
Right. That's right.
That's the key.
Always do it the right way.
Yeah.
And so you told us about Reggie McKenzie. It's in progress.
Mm-hmm.
So I don't have to ask you about that then. So now I did take a look at dog. I can't think of the name of it now. Your first short.
Blink of an eye.
Blink of an eye.
Blink of an eye. Yeah, I watched that.
Okay.
I
Yeah.
mean, that was the very first project you did.
Yeah, that was my first
Okay.
short.
Yeah,
Uh,
first short.
the one that I wrote, directed, produced, right?
Uh-huh.
So I had worked on a couple of projects with some other classmates and things like that. I had edited other stuff before that you'll see on my website. I did some voice work before that you'll
Okay.
see on the website. But Blink of an Eye was the first one that I wrote, directed, and produced, right?
Okay.
Edited, shot, the whole thing. That little short, man, that little thing, that's when I realized, man, my dog is killing me, man. You got to wait, man. Look, excuse me. That little film is when I realized that film will find its own audience, right?
Hmm.
It'll have its own life. So once you create this thing, it'll take on a life of its own. You
Right.
know, it'll
Right.
it'll it'll have wings and fly on its own, and people it'll have its own fans.
Uh-huh.
You know,
Yeah.
and so that's what that short taught me about filmmaking. It was like, okay, once you create this thing, it's really going to do its own thing out here.
Right. Right.
So, you have no control over how popular it gets. You can put it in the best places, put it in front of people, but how it affects people and how far it goes is up to the film itself. You know?
Right. Right. Yeah, because I was upset when certain people lost their lives.
I know, right?
I'm like, what? Really? This what we gonna do? This what we gonna do?
Right. Yeah,
Yeah. Yeah.
yeah.
So,
That little thing. Hey, listen, man. You want to know something funny? Do you know they bootlegged that little movie?
did
Yeah.
they?
Oh man, they bootlegged it. This is a 20-minute short, man. They bootlegged it. I couldn't believe it. I was like, how you bootleg a short?
Because they say you ain't trying to make no money off, but we gonna make some money off of it.
I thought it was the weirdest thing, you know.
Right.
And then I sold DVDs of it for like $5, right?
Okay.
And I can't buy one back for 50 now. I'm trying to find. I just want one of the original DVDs. So I put a plea out to anyone watching. Just please, if you got one of the original DVDs for Blink of an Eye, I will buy it back from you for $50. I know you didn't. You probably got it bootleg, or you probably paid me $5 if you actually got a legit copy.
Right.
But that's one I want, a legit copy. I'll give you 10 times what you paid for it right now.
Yeah.
I don't have one copy of that film.
Wow. Because downtown Tony Brown was in there, right?
Yeah, that's my man.
Yeah,
I was gonna say,
mine
you
too.
must
I
know
used to
him.
go. I used to go to the shows all the time. I tried. See that you should have did a little bit more because it was just like a Friday or something.
Yeah. Everybody said that they wanted me to turn that into a feature, and I might one day. Once I get
Yeah.
enough of a buzz out here, and I get big enough, I might go back and visit.
Yeah.
You know? They bootlegged Destiny's Calling too.
Did they?
Man, come on, man. Guy tried to sell me my own film. I told the guy, hey, man, that's my movie, man. He said,
No, that's funny.
You ain't paid me for this, so this ain't your movie. I said, no, brother, that's my movie, man. I made it, man. What you doing, bro? He's like, huh?
How ironic.
Look, then every time he seen me, he ain't had no copies. I always was asking, you got any copies of my movie? Man, no, I ain't got none of them. I ain't got none of them. Okay.
Yeah. It's crazy out these streets.
Yeah, it's so funny.
Yeah, you gonna sue him now.
Okay,
Yeah,
so
right.
this is what I want to do. I want to get slightly serious real quick.
Okay.
Like I gave you the heads up. So things my mother never told me. You got something for me now?
All right, so I thought about this, right? Because I had a great mom.
Right.
And the one thing my mother did tell me, I'm gonna start with that.
Okay.
The one thing my mother did tell me that really stuck with me was that I could do anything I want to do.
Okay.
And I believed her.
Yeah.
My mom told me that when I was a little boy. She said, James, you can do anything you want to do as long as it's within God's will.
Yeah.
Amen.
There you go.
I said, you know what, Ma? I believe you because I feel like I can do anything I want to do.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
And to this day, I still believe that. I don't believe it's anything I can't do, especially if another man has already done it.
Right.
But the one thing I think that she didn't tell me, and I don't even know if it would have been in her lexicon to tell me or whatever the proper word is, was that you can't get everybody to love
Yeah. Right.
you. That's the one thing that I think I had to learn on my own as a man.
Mm-hmm.
Like you can't. I don't care how hard you try. I don't care how much you give. I don't care what you do. You are not going to get everybody to love you.
No. No.
So you can't please everybody.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
That's the one thing that she didn't tell me. And at a younger age, I kind of tried to. I kind of tried to fit in with everybody. I kind of tried to, stay cool and neutral with everybody, and and just play everything to the point where it was all smooth.
Yeah.
And I found myself um, basically giving too much to people who didn't deserve it. I don't do that no more.
Yeah. Yeah.
You
Yeah.
know, if you are a person that ain't gonna give me nothing no matter what, you ain't gonna support me no matter what, I'm not gonna support you. I
Right.
don't care what you think. I don't, I could care less.
Yeah.
I do this for the people who are investing in me. I do this for the people who will support me. I do this
Mm-hmm.
for the people I can affect and change and that will feed
Ugh.
back and
See,
feed me back.
Right.
You feel me?
Yeah.
I'm not concerned about the haters. I'm not concerned about the people who uh uh just ain't gonna like me no matter what.
I
Yeah.
know we done did that, done that one.
That's right.
Yeah, yeah. So that's the one thing I say my mother didn't never told me. You know what I mean?
Yeah. Yeah.
Like she didn't tell me that part, and I think it would have saved me a few years of trying to be friends with people who wasn't my friend to begin with.
Yeah.
You know, and
Right.
then you want to know something funny? I always got something funny, right?
That's
And
right.
then
That's right.
lost my point by the time I get to it. But all right, so look, you have these people out here who think they so slick,
Oh, yeah.
and they think that they got you just pinned, and they think they got you just ooh, they not they I got this, he a sucker, he's so green. And I just be looking at him, just shaking my head, and I just smile. Yeah, man. Oh, yeah, that's what's up. Oh, yeah. And I'm thinking to myself, you really think I'm that stupid?
Mm-hmm.
And
Yeah,
I
they
just
do.
watch them and let them just play their little con all the way to the end until I just be like, oh no, I'm I'm going this way though.
Right. That's right. That's right.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
I just that to me, I think is the funniest thing. And especially when I'm trying to help people, right? So you trying to help somebody, and it's like,
Mm.
hey man, don't go left. It's a bunch of drama over there to the left. You might want to go right, you know?
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Nah, I'm going left. I'm going left. I'm going left.
Well, the world is full of people that think they're smarter than everybody else.
Yeah, so you gotta let them go left, you know.
Yeah.
I learned that. That's one of the things I think my mother did tell me, you know, like you
Well,
can't.
let me ask you a question. Did your mom ever tell you what, God, I can't think of the phrase now. Uh, you gonna figure it out? What is it? What is it? Okay, we were just talking about the day at church. I can't even think of it now. One day you gonna figure it out, or one day, well, I can't think of it.
I can't either because I went with you at church.
No, but I mean, it's what our mothers always tell us. You know, they try to tell us something. You know, it goes along with a hard head, make a soft behind.
Oh yeah, you'll figure it out.
Right, you'll figure it out. You know, the old church saying, "You gonna figure it out by and by."
Oh yeah, better by and by. Yeah.
Yeah, better
Figure it out. Yeah,
right,
yeah, yeah.
right, yeah.
Yeah. I
Okay.
mean, I got a lot of that from my uncle. That reminds me of my uncle Robert, right?
Mm-hmm.
That's my uncle Robert. Like, you'll figure it out. You'll figure it out. Yeah.
Yeah.
Don't, just keep doing what you're doing. Keep
You
living.
doing what you doing? Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. So he always was encouraging. That was my guy right there.
Yeah.
I miss a lot of family. This COVID, man. Man.
Yeah, yeah.
It's horrible.
It's unreal. But and I always tell people it's been unreal. But what I've seen personally in my life is that in the 2 years before COVID hit, I saw so many. It was like it wasn't a week that went by that I didn't know somebody that died.
Yeah. At first, you didn't know nobody. It seemed like it was a gimmick almost at first.
No, I'm
And
talking
then
about
all of a sudden, it was like everybody was dying.
right.
It was just like mind-boggling, right?
Yeah,
That's what happened to me.
yeah,
At first, I was like, well, I don't know nobody dying. They keep saying people dying. And then all of a sudden, it was like, oh, I know 8 people with it in
yeah.
2 days.
Yeah. Well, see, the thing about it is right,
Children died.
right. The ones that weren't affected by it got affected by it. But
Mhm.
but the beautiful thing that happened is that God slowed the world down long enough for everybody that said they didn't have time to do whatever it was they were supposed to be doing. Now you got time to do it.
Oh yeah,
You ain't got
yeah.
no excuse. You ain't got to go to work. You
Mhm.
ain't got to go to school. You ain't got to go to church. You ain't got to do nothing. Sit your butt at home and do what you said you was gonna do.
Yeah,
Absolutely.
What I blessed you to do.
Yeah, that's true. That's true. That is very true. It
If
definitely gave people time to
right,
wake up.
yeah. If it wasn't for COVID, I can honestly say we wouldn't have this podcast. I probably wouldn't have went back to school. I always kept saying I was going back, but there's always something else going on.
Hmm.
Well, ain't nothing going on now. You sitting at home hoping you don't get sick or don't get another phone call about somebody getting sick and dying.
Yeah,
So,
absolutely. You're
yeah.
right. So man, that there is a what do they call that? A double-edged sword.
Yes.
Mm-hmm.
Yes. Yes.
It's on one end, it did give us the opportunity to bond with our families because I
Yes.
know our family got tight,
Yes.
and we have a whole new appreciation for
Right.
each other.
Right.
But it also took some people from us, and we couldn't even see them off properly.
Yeah.
It took one.
Yes.
It took my favorite cousin Sonny for me, man.
Yeah.
I mean, this is a guy, man, that I thought was gonna live forever
Right.
because he was so healthy and he was older, but he looked so young. They say black don't crack.
Right.
Mm-hmm.
Right.
Sonny had to be in his 70s, but you would
Mm.
think Sonny was my age,
Mm-hmm.
and that's how beautiful of a person he was, inside and out.
Right.
So when we lost him, the worst part was just not being able to go to his funeral.
Yeah.
Yes. Yes.
So we couldn't even see our people off.
Yeah.
That
Yeah.
hurt it, man. That hurt it
You're
a
right.
lot.
Right. Yeah. It's
So
it. Not being funny, but unless you was on a special list,
right, 10 people.
10 people. Yeah. But then it got real good. Old 50, 25 could be in there. We got a question for you. Uh, have you ever thought of helping or supporting people that didn't support you with the hope that you could draw them in to support you?
Have I ever thought about it?
Yeah.
I have done it. I
Right.
do it all the time.
Yeah. Yeah.
So I still, to this day, I go on a set and help filmmakers who I know don't probably want to help me, probably won't help me.
Right.
Um, so I do it. I do that all the time because I volunteer to help people, whether I know that if they'll do something back to help me or not,
Right.
because I don't depend on it. Right?
Yeah.
Right.
Say that I'm not saying I won't help. I'm not saying I won't look out for other people, but I do it because that's me.
Right. That's
Mm-hmm.
right.
I'm not doing it to gain their
Yeah.
love or to gain their respect anymore. I'm just doing it because it's me.
Right.
My goal is to help the world.
Yeah,
Right.
make a difference.
Right.
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 Yeah, to
Yeah.
make a difference. So yeah, do I
Yeah.
help?
Mm-hmm.
Absolutely, all the
Yeah.
time.
Yeah.
All the
Right.
time.
Yeah, I would say that what you said earlier, and I know where you're coming from when you said it. There comes a point when you got to just stop because you just with some people it ain't like I'm not gonna help anybody, but some people you just
Yeah,
gotta feed them with a long handle spoon
absolutely.
because they gonna keep on doing what they're doing. They not making themselves better, you better, nobody better, because they
Exactly. And
yeah,
then you got the people that they just takers.
just takers. Yeah.
So and that's why I said one of the things I've done is gave way too much to somebody that would not reciprocate.
Yeah.
You
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
know, and that is where you got to know where to draw your boundary lines. My wife, man, I go back to her all the time because she actually she's a social person, right? I'm a technical person. So she's a social butterfly. People really hear, I know, right? You gotta love them. You gotta love them.
That's
So
right.
she knows people a lot better than me and
Mm.
how people interact. And I think she probably could have been a psychiatrist or some psychologist or something,
Mm-hmm.
but she just really understands humans
Mm-hmm.
better than and so, it's she said you got to draw boundary lines, man. Like if people are constantly trying to just use you and take from you and take, and when you turn around and need them, all of a sudden they don't got time. They ain't got time. They ain't got
That's
time.
right.
So at that point, you got to learn to draw boundaries on them.
Yeah.
You don't cut them all the way off and be mean to them because that's
Right.
you. So
Mm-hmm.
what I refuse to do, this is a key takeaway to the person that asks that question. What I refuse to do is allow somebody that I don't like to change me.
Mm-hmm.
So if you got a nasty attitude and you treat me mean, that ain't gonna make me start having a nasty attitude to everybody and treating them mean because I don't want to let nobody like you ever get away with nothing on me no more. Because see, now I'm turning to the bitter pill person, and guess who changed me?
Yeah.
The I don't know if I can cuss on here, but the jack. I ain't letting no jackass change me. You feel me?
Right.
Like,
That's
I'm
right.
gonna keep being a nice guy because that's who I am.
Yeah.
Now that's what I tell people. It looks like you break up with your ex-boyfriend, and now you mean to all the guys you meet when you knew your ex-boyfriend was a jerk. So you let the jerk change you?
Yeah.
I'm gonna let somebody that is cool change me. I let my wife change me because I love her and she's a beautiful person. So I'll let her change me. I'm not gonna let my ex-girlfriend change me, who was a nasty, mean person, and now I'm all thinking all women nasty and mean, so I'm treating them all like they all like that. And now she done changed me to be the person I don't even want to be.
And then here's the worst part of that. And then when your wife came along, you wouldn't have been receptive to her.
Exactly. That's it. Now you get it real quick.
Missed it out.
Oh, it's easy. It's easy.
Yeah. So that's how I do life, man.
Yeah.
I don't do this. I don't let no nasty jerk, mean person change me.
That's right. Don't let it in your
got
spirit.
over on me. That's fine. You got over. You took advantage. You win.
Yeah.
But I just drew a line on you.
Yeah.
So you borrow $50 from me, and you just ain't never gonna pay it back. You think you done got away with a hot 50. But what you did is prevent yourself from borrowing 100 next time.
Yeah.
Or 1,000 the time after that, or 10,000 when I become a multi-millionaire mogul. Right?
That's right.
That's
For
right.
$50 you bought yourself. How stupid are you?
Yeah. And then there's always
that black
room,
tax ain't no joke.
There's always room for people to come back and redeem themselves.
Huh?
I said, there's always time for people to redeem themselves. I mean, they got to prove it, right? They got to show it, right?
I don't know about that.
You'll get there. You'll get there. You'll get there.
I don't think I'm gonna get there.
Never say never.
Hey, look, that's one of the things my mama never told me. hey, look. Now, look.
Don't be no fool. I know I can hear him now. Don't be no fool.
Hey, that's my Aunt Lil. Don't take no wood nipple. What's a wood nipple?
Right. Good. You don't know what it is. That
Right.
mean you ain't took none.
Right. Yeah, I gotta get it right. But
That's right.
I'm a firm believer in forgiveness, but what I don't do is I don't put myself in a situation for you to take advantage of me.
Right. Oh, sure.
Right.
Sure.
So you can get over on me. I'm not saying you can't. You can, but you ain't gonna keep doing it.
That's right.
You ain't gonna keep doing it. For a few reasons. I'm not gonna let you.
Yeah. And well, like you said, we can see you for what you is.
So number one, and you can stop right there. I'm not gonna let you.
Like you said, the hair start growing and shit. You get this little churn in your stomach. Oh, here you come again.
Right.
Look at that number.
Okay, I'm looking at the time. So we coming up on our time. So what is it that Tina, you got anything else in your
You know what? I did want to talk about that equitable internet initiative.
Oh yeah,
I thought that was amazing.
Woo! Hey, listen. They on their way back. We about to do another video. They giving out laptops now.
Okay.
Lenovo laptops.
Yeah.
So the North End Woodward Coalition. It's on my website.
Yeah, coalition. Yeah, that's what I was talking about.
NamesTheTurner.com, right? The Equitable Internet Initiative, EII by NEWCC. They're giving about free gigabyte internet to low-income families who need internet, with children especially.
Right.
And they're giving out free laptops.
Wow.
Not the crappy laptop. I'm talking about Lenovo laptops. This Lenovo bought IBM.
Okay.
Right. That's IBM. The new IBM is Lenovo. Lenovo. Right. They giving them out for free.
Wow.
To low-income families with children who are in school who don't have internet, you can get high-speed gigabyte internet and a laptop. Quit playing. They doing
Right.
great things. So I'm like,
They
so
are. I was just I was looking at that and I was up there saying, what? They are, like they said, they really are closing that digital divide.
right.
And they
And
got
so,
these digital stewards. I was like, and there
and they,
you are out there.
hey, look, and you know what's so funny? I always got something funny, right? But
Yeah.
when I'm shooting this stuff, I don't really know what it is, the story they're telling. So I'm truly inquisitive, right? So I'm
Hmm.
like, "Hey, well, what is it that you're doing? I don't find out what they're really doing until I get back and start editing.
Oh wow.
So when I'm out there in the field, I'm paying attention to the
You paying
framing,
attention?
the
Uh-huh.
color, the lighting, the audio levels. I'm paying attention to all this different stuff.
Right.
Now I hear you, but I'm hearing you through a prism
Right.
because I got to make sure you look good, you well lit, you sound good, you
You
Right.
frame
sound,
Right.
that's
properly,
right.
Right.
everything is right, right?
That's right.
So that's all I really care about at that moment. When I get back into the actual the studio and I'm actually editing, that's when I
Uh-huh.
get to hear it and I'll be like, whoa.
I
Yeah.
know.
Yeah. Yeah.
I'll be like, whoa, this is powerful. And so, that's when I get the true impact of it.
Yeah.
I'm about to go do something with them later this week, actually, about the laptops that they're giving out.
Okay.
And
Okay.
that's in
Wonderful.
conjunction with Metro, Wayne Metro, or something like that. They got a partnership with Wayne Metro.
They got a project, yeah. And
Yeah, so
Detroit Community Technology Project is a partner with, yeah, DCTP.
yeah,
Hmm.
She
yeah.
the
So they
researcher.
doing big things, big.
I
Right.
know.
Yeah.
Ain't that cool? Cool.
Right.
I love
But you know the thing about what you just said is important, and for anybody who wants to go into your field, you're not concerned about what they're talking about as much as you are making sure that you record and you get it on film what they're talking about.
it. Right. You got to capture it right.
Right. You got to capture it
Hmm.
because if you get back to the studio and then you still don't know what they're talking about, you didn't do your job. And so now you failed at what you were there to do. So
Yeah.
yeah, I can see that. Here's my funny story. My daughter played basketball in high school. And so she played AAU ball. So I was on the staff of the team she played on. So I was videoing the games. And what I discovered is that in my videoing of the games, I also was still being her father. So and a fan of the game. So when kids were doing stuff they wasn't supposed to be doing, I talking about them. I talking about them. Oh, you please look. Oh, you see what that? And so then when I went back and looked at it, and the parents was like, "Well, can we get that video?" Oh man, it didn't come out right.
Because
I
you've
can't,
been talking all the whole video.
well, I'll talk about their kids.
Woo.
I can't give you a video when I talk about your kid, the worst player on the team.
Yeah, that's funny, man.
I can't give
That's
you that.
one of the things I learned early. Shut up.
Yeah, shut up. It ain't about you. It's about what's going on over there. Shut your mouth. Like Steve Harvey said, shut your mouth.
Yeah. You
Yeah,
have
so
to. When you roll that camera and that audio is listening, you got to be quiet behind that camera, man.
yeah, yeah.
Because that's all in there. And you can't cut it out.
You're
Can't get
right.
that out of there. You can put some music under and cut the words all the way off.
Effects of it, yeah.
That's the solution. So
Yeah.
next time you do that, cut all the audio off and just put music under.
You put music on there. Yeah,
Let them see where they went wrong instead of hearing where
right,
they went
right,
wrong.
right. I hooked this. This is real nice. They playing. They got a nice song, a nice track in the background. Oh, this is
Yep.
beautiful. And they go,
That's
oh,
it.
baby. So yeah, I didn't think about it. Well, back then we wasn't doing stuff like that.
Another thing I
'Cause-
wanted
'cause
to
my daughter 30, what's she now?
for
34?
yeah, she's a
Yeah.
sergeant,
wow.
state trooper.
Yeah,
What?
yeah.
Oh yeah,
Man, that's beautiful.
she making a difference.
And I love it. Right?
She's training state police now.
Right,
Dang, that's what's up. I love it. I love it.
right.
Mhm.
I love
So
when people do good.
But
right.
another thing I wanted that it really impacted me was that your stop the violence videos.
Hmm.
I
Oh, now,
really,
that's a heck of a campaign, right?
oh my goodness,
Yeah, that was
I
a
was
heck of a campaign.
I was really
It was
impressed.
so powerful.
Yeah.
Do you know we ran into some issues with Facebook on that campaign?
Wow.
So they ran the campaign, but they ran it out of sequence. So we had the whole plan was to put out these 3 to 4 gotcha videos.
Mm-hmm.
Mm-hmm.
Let those lead back into a tie-in, so you can understand how all of these different things tie into one event.
One hit,
Mm-hmm.
you're right.
And then we take that and lead you into the solution video, which basically tells you how you can help. stop
Mm-hmm.
violence in the community.
Okay.
So everything I do has a beginning, middle, and
Hmm.
end, right? So that's the beginning. These little bang videos bust you right in the face, right? And then we tell you how it's all connected. Then we tell you how to eat health. Well, they dropped it all at once and just slung it all over the place. And I was like, oh my God, I don't know who didn't get the memo, but they didn't release it the way that we had planned it.
Okay.
I don't know. I think, it could have been like an assistant or something. Somebody just uploaded it.
Mm-hmm.
Right.
So when we went in and tried to fix it, Facebook said, oh no, this is too graphic for Facebook.
Mm.
Now y'all looked at it. It is not too graphic for Facebook.
No.
No way, no how.
Right.
But when you're trying to do something, a lot of times, and I'm not gonna knock Facebook because they do a lot of stuff for the
Hmm.
black community to help us
Right.
stay,
That's right.
right?
But
But when you're trying to do certain things, it seems like unless you're paying them, they just will not let it spread on its own. They won't let it go organically,
hmm.
right? They want to have control
Control.
over
Right.
what gets disseminated throughout or distributed throughout our community.
Hmm.
That I don't like. You know what I'm
Right.
saying?
Yeah.
But the good they do, I think it kind of balances it out. You know what I mean? Because it is a way for us to stay in touch with each other.
Right.
Yes, it is.
Right.
Even though there are other avenues and stuff like that, Facebook is just by far the populous. I mean,
Mm.
most popular. And so it has its good, it has its bad, like everything else in life. You know, so
Right.
we just
Mm-hmm.
gotta take it. But I think had they released that right, that would have been one of the most powerful campaigns I ever put
Okay.
Yeah, I was really impacted by it,
Yeah.
really. Even especially when you have the statistics.
together. Yeah, them
Mm.
statistics ain't they
Hmm. Oh my goodness, it was just, it
mind
was
boggling?
overwhelming.
Yeah, yeah, and that was real. That was all real numbers,
Yeah. Yeah.
sources. So
Right.
yeah, a lot of stuff, man. I
All
try to
right.
do good in the community. I want
Yeah.
your audience to know that I try to do a lot of good. I'm gonna do some good. It's in the cards for me.
Oh
Right.
yeah.
That's right.
I don't know what everybody else is gonna do, but I know what I'm gonna do with mine.
Yeah. There you go. And we keep on pushing forward, doing it regardless.
And that's
Yeah,
why we do just like you. We try to showcase the impact all this stuff has on our lives. We try to showcase the people that's doing what they're doing and making a difference in the community,
Yeah.
and especially the ones that they live in. That's
Right.
even more
yeah,
impactful.
Right.
yeah,
And,
man.
yeah. And the people who need to see stuff, they still see it. As long as we putting it out there for them, they still see it. And everything ain't gonna be a major success, but as long as it get to the people who need to see it and impact
Right.
those lives, yeah, yeah,
Yeah, man. Hey, I got a whole lot to offer. People, I do my best to help everybody.
yeah.
So if there's anybody out there who's trying to learn this industry, learn this field, if they notice what they want to do, I'm an open book, man. I mean, I paid a lot for my education. Uh, what I did learn, I think I might have got off that point, but what I did learn from making Destiny's Calling is I ain't know how to do the business side of this industry.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
So I went back and got an MBA just so that I could learn how to market a film
Okay.
correctly and do the business side, which is the most important part.
Yes,
If
it
you
is.
really want to get everything out there to the public and you want your story to go global, you have to understand the business side.
Right.
You have to. And so, you know, that's where I have a lot to offer people who are even already established Detroit filmmakers.
Mm-hmm.
Like, I see them out here, I see them producing stuff, I see them putting stuff out all the time, but it's staying local. And I want to help them get national and international.
All
So
right.
that's my goal. My goal is to take our Detroit filmmakers to the
Mm-hmm.
next level and get
Okay.
us more attention because we deserve it. We
Right.
got some really
Mhm.
talented filmmakers in
Oh
Detroit,
yes, you do.
and,
Talented.
they're doing good stuff. It's just staying local, and it's just a few little tweaks and a few little things that we could do different.
Mm-hmm.
And this Detroit filmmaking community could be one of the premier filmmaking communities in the world.
Okay.
Mhm.
Okay.
And I'm talking about the black Detroit filmmakers
Right. Right.
because they're doing it. They're doing it. It's not like they're not doing it. They're doing it.
Yeah.
But
Yeah.
if we tweak it, get it just a little bit more, a little better on the writing end, and a little better on the pre-production side and post, and we got them. We
Yeah.
got them.
Yeah.
because we got so much content coming so fast, they wouldn't be able to touch
I
it.
know it's mind-boggling. I'm telling you.
Mm.
Yeah,
When you
Oh,
do it in God's time, I'm telling you, it's just liable to blow up any minute.
yeah.
I'm
yeah.
telling you. And
I'm
that's why
trying to
we
be
had
that.
somebody on that last week that was that's helping the entrepreneurs with strategic uh, things to
Finance.
help them with their finances.
Yeah,
You know what I'm
strategic
saying? How to hold
planning.
on to your money.
Right.
That just squander it, and you know how to really. Uh,
Understand it, right?
Right.
So
mhm.
finance is a lot. Like I told you, I got like 17 finance degrees. Finance is
Yes.
a lot,
Yeah.
right? That's a lot that has a lot to do with your success.
Right.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Understanding credit, understanding how money works. I
Yes.
mean, you that's imperative, right? And I tell people
Yeah.
this kind of stuff because it's true. Credit, good credit, they think, oh, good credit, you can buy a car. But good credit is worth $1 million.
Ooh.
And when I
Say.
say that, they be like, man, all right, he exaggerating. No, I'm underestimating. It's really worth about 10 or 20 million.
I
Yeah.
know your
Yeah.
credit is your bond, ain't it? That's like
It's worth so much more than $1 million that if I say it, you'll really think I'm exaggerating.
Hmm.
A good credit is worth way more than $1 million,
Mhm.
Right.
all right? Because it'll save you a ton of money.
Hmm.
It'll open up a flood of leverage on your money.
Yes, it will.
So you talking about you got $1,000, right? With bad credit, you're gonna spend 300 or 400 of that in just interest
Yeah.
on whatever you buy. If you paying in increments, you got $1,000 with good credit. You could turn that to $41,000 just by getting leverage if you invest it.
Hmm. Hmm. Yeah.
People like, what you talking about? Yeah, get a brokerage account, and then they'll give you more money than you got. They'll double, triple, quadruple the money that you got to invest in a company that's a blue chip company.
Hmm.
Somebody you can't do that with like
Ooh.
Bitcoin or the cryptocurrencies and stuff because they're too risky.
Yeah.
But if you got a secure investment that it's all risk, right? When it's
Right.
investment.
Right.
Yes, it
Right.
is.
Right.
However, some are a lot less risk. And when you have investments that are low risk, they'll give you what's called leverage on your money,
Hmm.
which means they'll give you double, triple, quadruple the actual amount of dollars that you have to invest in a company that's low risk.
Hmm.
Now you're talking about making money.
Yeah.
Now you're making money, but
Oh
you gotta
Lord.
be careful, right? You gotta be careful, right? Because it's still an investment, it's still risky because excuse me, if you have your money leveraged and you own $1,000, they giving you 6,000. When that money, if they start losing, you losing 6 times faster.
Right.
If you growing 6 times faster.
Mm-hmm.
So you got to keep that in mind when you use that leverage money. It's called margin, right?
Yeah.
So if you use that margin money, hey, if it start losing, you losing a lot faster,
Yeah. Yeah.
right? But if it's growing,
Yeah.
sky's the limit.
Yeah, that's why you gotta stay on top of it.
Right.
Exactly. You got
You
to
gotta
sell it every
start that
time.
go out there every day.
Right.
Oh, see
That's
what it's
right.
at. Yeah,
Right, right. You sell it
gotta
actually
watch
for
it.
the beginning. When you look and you get shocked because it made so much money, sell it.
Okay.
That's when you sell.
Yeah. Yeah.
And when you look and you be like, whoa, look how low it then got. Buy it. That's the key. That's the
Yeah.
key. And we didn't get on here to talk finances, but hey, I know.
I know. I did brought it up. I opened the door, so
Yeah.
you
Yeah,
know I'm
yeah.
just saying
Right.
because we just had this person last week, and yeah.
So right. So what I'm gonna do right now? We might have to have you back. Uh, you got something.
I know,
You,
especially when the release come out.
you got something else you want to tell to the people that you haven't told them yet, or that you want to reiterate?
Um, I think I really hope I fed your audience. I really do. Um, as far as anything that I haven't spoke on, I just want to plug my film, Noble Intentions dot movie. That's
Okay.
the film website. We got some very talented Detroit people that are part of this film. Some
Oh,
of them
that's
are they're gonna have their roles adjusted because we got some really talented movie stars coming on.
Okay.
Man, when I talk about blessings and the people who are coming on board with this thing, it's hard to really digest and explain to people.
Hmm.
I'm new to this, so I have to I'm still learning it too.
I'm glad we had you on this low budget podcast then.
Hey,
Well, you blew up. Look.
we all got to start somewhere,
That's
Yes,
right.
we
right?
do.
That's right.
We all start somewhere, baby. And so I'm happy to be starting right here with y'all. I'm gonna just
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, because like you say, our audience, like you said, word of mouth spreads everything.
Yeah.
yeah, absolutely. And I hope I share something that helps somebody some kind of way.
Yeah.
Um,
I
and I'm
think so.
always still open. I'm open to feedback. I love it. I love it, even if it's dead wrong. I still listen. So
Well, you know the thing about it is, and then we'll let you go, is
Mhm.
that even when the feedback ain't what we think it is, and it ain't what we see it as, it lets you know that somebody out there is seeing it different than what you put it out there.
Yep, and that's always true. So
Yeah.
I love it, man. Either way, I love it. I
Right.
absolutely do.
That's right. That's right.
Hey, look, I want to thank y'all for having me on this show, man. This has been a blast. I was skeptical when you first called me. I'm like, oh man, I'm so busy, right?
Right.
And
Right.
I really am. And this
Right.
is what I eat. When I'm creating all that stuff, everybody's like, where you at, man? I'm right here. I'm at home. I'm sitting in the living room, man.
Yeah.
Feet up, you know, typing
Doing your
away.
thing.
That's right where I be on this computer going to work. And
Right.
but I really thought that it was going to be a lot more challenging than it is. I'm
Mhm.
glad I did it. I feel like we had a great conversation.
I think so.
Yes.
I think so.
I hope that your people really liked it. I hope they understand what kind of person I am, and I hope they follow and support me and my team because I have an awesome team of people who are going to do some great work in Detroit. We're gonna represent. Highland
Right.
Park is where I'm from, but Highland Park is the capital of Detroit.
That's
When I
right.
say Detroit, y'all know I'm really from the capital of Detroit, but
Yeah, my best friend mother, she just received her little plaque from the Michigan State Representative Helena Scott. Her name is Frances White. She's 90 years old. She's been in Highland Park forever.
awesome. What street? What street?
No, it ain't Massachusetts.
I
What
don't
is it?
know.
I can't think of the street right now.
It'd be Massachusetts. Massachusetts.
Massachusetts,
Yeah,
yeah,
that's the street in Highland Park.
yeah.
Right.
Yeah,
Yeah,
that's the
right
big
there.
houses. Oh, she kind of got some money.
Well, she was a professor at Wayne State and all that
Yeah,
kind of stuff. So
yeah.
yeah.
Hey, look, Highland Park got all classes, right?
Dope.
Oh, okay.
See, people didn't know that. See, Highland Park, because of the way it was set up, we had our little, lower income type sides, and our
Mm-hmm.
rich people stayed over on the other side where she from.
Yeah.
So they got a
This you
big
gonna talk
house,
about where she from?
huge house. And so
Mm.
those are the people who had a little more money than
Yeah,
everybody
yeah,
else.
had a couple more dollars.
Yeah, they had a couple more dollars.
Couple more dollars. That's all. Yeah, yeah.
But she's
Some
quite humble.
Some of them might have had a little side business going on back in the day. We don't know.
But we do enjoy. We enjoyed you.
Right.
We enjoyed you.
And-
We enjoyed
Right,
you.
and we thank you again for agreeing to come on at such a late notice.
Right.
I don't know who you helped, but you gave me some good information.
I know
Good.
that's right.
That's for sure. And if you gave me some information, I know somebody else got some too.
And we know
Good.
we love your wife.
Everybody
Yeah,
do.
I know. We love her. We love her. That's
Right.
what I'm saying. When
Right.
my family reunion
Everybody.
come, I got all this extra stuff and
Right.
giveaways. I'm gonna get from.
Right. So what I want you to do is if you got anything coming up, you got I sent you a friend request on Facebook.
Okay.
So you can hit me up and let me know anything coming down the way, and we'll distribute it through our network and see what's going on.
Hey, I totally appreciate it.
I'm gonna hit you back about that Highland Park thing because I want to watch it.
All right. I give you the password. I give you the
Okay.
password. Just
Okay. Then.
tell them.
All right.
Look, and our married couples ministry we always get together and go to a movie.
Oh, shucks. So Highland Park would be great for y'all.
Yeah.
That's Colin will too.
All right.
Y'all might not want to watch no intentions. It's kind of grown. It gets a little raunchy. It got some cussing in it. It
Well,
ain't
look, and we looked at
Well, so did the
all
other
these
one.
other ones. Isn't that thing?
Hey, I forgot, right? Oh,
We don't
I
forget
forgot.
where we
You watch
come
Big
from.
Mike,
Yeah, they said a couple blue words in there, just a couple.
yeah, they said a few in there.
Yeah.
Yeah. So you won't be shocked.
That's
Right,
right. Family history gone.
Right. Like as your wife would say, we grown.
Grown. There you go.
Right? There you
All right. Yeah.
Enterprise over here.
Yeah. That's right.
All right, power couple. We
Right.
gonna let y'all
All right. So we're gonna let you go, brother. We thank you for sharing with us.
so much,
All right.
James.
And
Hey.
we're gonna keep an eye on you as you're moving along, and we praying for your success.
All right, man. Thank y'all for having me. I
All
totally enjoyed this. This
All
was
right.
great.
All right,
Okay.
then have a good one.
Take care now.
All right, y'all
All right.
too.
Virtual
All right.
hug.
Peace.
All right, we do this. All right, y'all. Enjoy.
Uh-oh, the dog calling me now.
All right, we gotta let them out.